I started YouTube back in 2012 with the goal of just making good videos. I wanted to have fun playing games, recording my games, recording commentary, and uploading good videos. That's all I wanted to do. I wanted to make videos that people thought were good and that they enjoyed. Then after I stopped uploading, I tried again about 4 years later, and that was also the only goal. I wanted to create a place where if someone had a bad day at school or a bad day at work, they could come and watch my videos and forget all their problems for 7 or 8 minutes. I also live streamed at the time, so if anyone wanted to come and watch us play live, they could also do that. I know I said in a previous video, which you can watch up here actually, that conflict delayed is conflict multiplied. But at the time, I didn't want to face my problems head on. So I wanted to create a place where people could come and watch my videos or live streams and we could all have a laugh while our problems grew in the background because we didn't want to face them head on. But after my mom died in 2018, I was faced with an inflection point. Yeah, I was having fun playing, but it didn't feel fulfilling. I just played games, uploaded them, and that was it. I didn't do it for fun or for enjoyment. I was just doing it because I told myself that I wanted to. I did live stream for fun though, so I will put that, on the record. I also think that after experiencing a traumatic event, I was just doing what I had to do in order to take my mind off of what happened and to keep myself occupied, I guess. The end of 2018 to probably the end of 2019 or beginning of 2020 was a blur, so I don't even remember what really happened. I don't remember what videos exactly, but I remember that in some of my old videos, I was actually yawning in the commentary, but I didn't want to stop the recording to yawn and then continue, so I just left it in there. That's how you know I was just doing it for the sake of doing it. But as I said, I was faced with an inflection point. I could either go further down the gaming route and not feel fulfilled when uploading the videos, or I could stop that and try something else, and these videos were born. But the thing is that the goal always stayed the same, and it was, and still is, to make videos that people thought or think are good. The goal never changed, the plan just changed. I know you're gonna say, well, here he goes with the housing market again, but just hear me out on this one. So let's say that you had a goal of buying a house that was $1 million. That's a pretty big feat that you want to accomplish, and that's perfectly okay. Your goals should scare you a little bit. Anyway, let's take my financial situation here. I don't come from money, and my mom and I rented this apartment in my whole life. After she passed away, I took over the rent and I just continued paying it. My dad also hasn't been in the picture since I was a kid, so I don't come from money. I don't have an inheritance. I didn't get an inheritance, after my mom died. I inherited paying rent, so that's where I come from. But as I said in a previous video, I never went to bed hungry or anything like that, and I had video games and stuff, and I honestly don't know how my mom did it. Anyway, let's say that the house is $1 million, and you realize that you can't afford it right now. Does that mean that you should give up on owning the house? No. You just change the plan, or you change the route that you're going to take to be able to afford the house. So instead of going from where you're living now to $1 million house, let's say you get yourself a small condo. Then you give it 3 to 5 years, it builds up some equity, and then you sell it and you make, say, 50 grand from it. Then you realize that the house that you want is just out of your price range again, so what do you do now? Well, you get yourself a townhouse. You live there for, let's say, 10 years, and you come out with a good amount of money after selling it. After working and grinding and saving for almost 20 years or 30 years, you now finally realize that you can buy the house that you always wanted. I'm not saying that it's gonna be that easy, but you get my point. The goal of owning the house never changed. The path that you took changed. You got to the house in the end either way, but it just took a couple of extra steps. If you're going somewhere and you realize that you miss a turn that you were supposed to take, hopefully because you weren't driving distracted, you don't just turn around and go home, you find an alternate route. I feel like the same thing should apply when we create goals and other things like that. If something doesn't work out, or at least I did, I get into this mode of forget everything. I don't want to do it anymore, and I dropped everything because I didn't even want to try and overcome obstacles. I just wanted everything to work perfectly from the beginning without any hitches. But after I realized that life doesn't work that way, now sometimes I feel like I have too much motivation to let something go, because I believe in myself and I truly believe that I can achieve anything that I want to achieve. But to end off the video, I want you to remember that the plan doesn't work unless you do. Just because you have a plan doesn't mean that everything is gonna fall into place. You still have to execute the plan correctly and have, patience and all those other things. Just because you come up with this plan and you write it in a nice notebook doesn't mean anything if you don't put in the necessary work to make that goal come true. And remember, if the plan doesn't work, change the plan, not the goal. Sure, you might have to take a step back and rework what you're gonna do, but you don't have to change the goal because the plan didn't work. Just stay focused, put in the work, and good things will happen. And as always, thanks for watching.